SUMMERSLAM, the greatest pay-per-view spectacular of the summer, sizzles into your home this Monday night, exclusively on pay-per-view. The immortal Hulk Hogan returns to the ring after suffering a near-career-ending injury to face the Earthquake. World Wrestling Federation champion, the Ultimate Warrior, faces ravishing Rick Rude in the most grueling match in wrestling today, the Steel Cage match. Don't miss SummerSlam, exclusively on pay-per-view.
This is the Subject to Changes podcast, and it is a very special one because it's the summer. We're talking about SummerSlam, and we're talking about a couple older ones, 88 and 90. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Eric Michaelian. Eric, how are you doing, and how are you enjoying the summer?
Well, let me tell you something, Mean Geno. I'm having a great time this summer, and I'm not reviewing these on my own tonight.
You have a secret weapon, I assume?
I've got a secret weapon. Oh, yeah. That was Hulk Hogan into Macho. There wasn't. So there's no confusion.
And both impressions, Eric, very nice. Now, before we start, we'd like to dedicate this program to, of course, the Hulkster. So we're looking at the first SummerSlam, 1988, coming from New York City, with the commentary team of Gorilla Monsoon and superstar Billy Graham. What do you think of this duo doing commentary?
I really like Billy Graham on commentary, strangely enough. But halfway through, I was like, did they switch out for Dusty Rhodes? Because he sounds exactly like Dusty Rhodes.
He kind of does. I'm a big Billy Graham fan. Very, very, like in his heyday, he was very amusing. He cut the best promos. As most people know, he was the influence that gave birth to Hulk Hogan and Jesse Ventura. He was one of those bad guys that people loved, and that was unheard of back in like the territory days. But through some injuries, through some bad decisions, he was basically out of the game, and now he is in commentary with a love-hate relationship with Vince McMahon and the WWF at the time.
Yeah,
now,
he was the transitional champion from Bruno Sammartino to Bob Backlund.
Billy Graham didn't want to lose the belt to Bob Backlund because Billy Graham was still selling out stadiums. But Vince McMahon Sr. really had a liking for Bob Backlund, even though Bob Backlund had no glitz, glamour, charisma, looks, so on and so forth. But we're in 88, and we're dealing with the Mega Bucks versus the Mega Powers. How do you think of that as a headliner for an event?
I always think the championship should be the main event of every pay-per-view. I don't like gimmick tag team stuff like this. But if you're going to have two people coming together for a tag team, it might as well be the Macho Man and Hulk fucking Hogan.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Ted DiBiase did a lot for the Mega Bucks, especially because Andre couldn't sell. It was mainly DiBiase. As far as a main event like that goes, I was happy with it.
I didn't like it just because the decision was never in doubt. You knew that there's no way Hogan and Macho are going to lose this match, but I still rented it in 88. I was 13 years old. I was a huge wrestling fan. The Mega Powers and Mega Bucks were of interest to me then, which I probably made up a big demographic during this time anyway.
This might actually be the first time I've seen this SummerSlam all the way through, so good pick, Geno.
You're welcome. The very first match, the fabulous Rougeau brothers came out, and they didn't come out to their song All-American Boys. I fucking love. I think it's so funny. And they're facing the British Bulldogs. Now, do you know if the fist fight happened before or after this between Jacques Rougeau and the Dynamite Kid?
It's going to happen in a couple of weeks. For those of you who don't know, Bulldogs asked Mr. Perfect to watch their garments, and I think Mr. Perfect shredded the Bulldogs' clothes and then said the Rougeaus did it. Dynamite Kid went and just knocked out fucking Ray Rougeau and Jacques. So the Rougeaus plotted their revenge. They got a roll of quarters, which I still think is a fucking handy weapon, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And like right before the British Bulldogs were about to go out for a match, I think it was Jacques.
It was Jacques.
Runs up and clocks Dynamite Kid in the face, knocking out 4 teeth. Didn't knock him down, but the dude was out on his feet. The Rougeaus heavily implied they were going to use Dino Bravo's Canadian mafia connections against Dynamite's family if they try to retaliate. But it wouldn't be long until the British Bulldogs actually I think they leave around Survivor Series of this year. What a weird-ass story.
Well, and Jacques Rougeau is, I think, untapped talent. He kind of reminds me of like Steven Regal in his humor, and his athleticism and his like realistic in-ring game. What did you think of Jacques Rougeau?
Watching this, I was so impressed with both Rougeaus. Like, I became a really big fan of both of theirs after watching this match. I mean, having a match with the British Bulldogs is no easy task.
No.
Like, they're amazing workers, so like just to keep up with them is incredible. And I think the Rougeaus did it. I love their little gimmick when they come out holding the American flags. They want to emigrate to America, and everybody's booing them. Because
Yes.
they want to be Americans, and then they get attacked by the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And the Bulldogs get cheered by the audience. In Madison Square Garden, losers booing the Rougeaus. What's wrong with you people?
Booing the Rougeaus is wrong because I love the Rougeaus. But they weren't pro-America. They were insulting Americans the whole fucking time. And they're fakes that are mocking them.
You see it one way, I'll see it the true way.
Yeah.
And history will tell that I was right. The
Well,
Rougeaus are amazing. Let them in America, goddammit.
The Rougeaus are amazing. So much so that they made the song All American Boys, which has a line, we don't like heavy metal, we don't like rock and roll. All we like to listen to is Barry Manilow. And they sing it. They sing the song in French, which is like even more of a F you, we're not acclimating to America.
America's going to have to start acting right if we're going to attract amazing people like the Rougeaus. We need to bring these people in and just like up America's stock a little bit. The Rougeaus are where it's at. I'm telling you.
So we get this decent match between these two good teams. It unfortunately ends in a time limit draw. I hate to see this bullshit. Were you upset that this great match didn't have a definitive winner?
Yeah, I was. I like when like someone is over clean. It really looked like the Bulldogs were going to do it. I don't know if it was like an ego thing between the two teams. Nobody wanted a job to the other one, but time limit draw. You got to fill the void somehow. Fucking Bolsheviks certainly weren't doing it for us.
I loved the Bulldogs move, which I forgot they did it, where Davey Boy Smith bench presses the Dynamite Kid and launches him headfirst into the opponent on the mat.
Oh, that was terrific.
We get the Bulldogs chasing the Rougeaus because the Rougeaus try to shake hands because they're all American boys. They never do anything wrong. And they, of course, cheap shot the Bulldogs. Bulldogs chase them back. And Billy Graham says, finish it in the showers if you have to. I've heard that before. What did you think of the first match?
I thought it was great. I would think it was Davey who dropped Jacques on the top rope, and Jacques just started like convulsing on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like kicking his legs out, looking like he was trying to push out a baby. I loved this match. These two amazingly athletic teams coming together like this. What did you think?
I loved it. Great match, and I'm a big Rougeau Brothers fan. Even back in the day, I was a huge Rougeau Brothers fan because they are assholes, smile in your face, pretending to be nice guys. And they have that flying crotch to your face move, which is very unique.
Yeah, the bombs away. I loved it. We saw it at WrestleMania 3.
We get the update on the complete waste of a wrestler, Brutus Beefcake, and how Outlaw Ron Bass put him out of commission with his spur. Were you happy that Ron Bass got rid of this useless guy?
I had no idea who Outlaw Ron Bass is, but I thanked him every day for taking Beefer out of SummerSlam. That's going to be a theme tonight. Beefer is not at SummerSlam, man.
Outlaw Ron Bass, I do know that he's an outlaw, which I think makes him a cowboy. If you're a cowboy, well, the spurs and the horseshoe on his right buttock mixed with the outlaw and the black cowboy hat that he used to wear. And he also used to carry a rope with a bell on it. And that's a cowbell, making him a cowboy. So, so he was a cow.
Logic is bulletproof.
There you go. I rest my case.
Out of law, so he's an outlaw.
There you go. And he did not act very lawful attacking Beefcake. You know what?
He did us all a favor.
Leading to another lost talent that should have been world champion, in my opinion. Bad News Brown. Great promo. Judo, Olympic background. This guy was fantastic. And they didn't do shit with him. But they put him with Ken Patera. Were you a Bad News Brown or Ken Patera fan?
Okay, I'll tell you this. I never really thought much of Bad News Brown until I watched this match and was like, Oh, this dude's a fucking badass. Like he was like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
Like he's kind of a loner. He just like kind of does his own thing. He's a tough guy. He doesn't give a fuck what you think about him. Like they had something with Bad News Brown. They had nothing with Ken Patera except for a massive like male camel toe. Like Bad News Brown was dope. The Ghetto Blaster,
Great move.
Great move. And he just steamrolled Ken Patera. Didn't need him. He looked like Wooly Willy without a mustache.
Ken Patera had so much support in the crowd from the 50-year-old women because he sported the same hairstyle that they had at the time.
That's true. It was out there, like really out there.
And
I'm talking like 6 to 7 inches from his face.
It was a very weird hairstyle for a former Olympic gold medalist, I believe, in weightlifting. Mm-hmm. Then he also shaved his legs clean and wore a very weird costume. That costume he wore did not complement his physique. Did you think that made him look good?
It looked like he stole his daughter's cheer squad outfit.
But that thick hair did not protect him from the Ghetto Blaster.
No, you think it would? It's cushion the blow.
Bad News Brown, you're right. He's not a heel. He's not a face. Almost like he's a Clubber Lang, where he just is all business. Fuck everybody. What a miss by the Federation. They could have made tons of money with him. He could get tons of heat easy, and they just let him fizzle away in bullshit feuds with Roddy Piper and JYD and a few others, where he could have been an A player. Him versus Hogan at a WrestleMania could have been gold.
The thing that he had that Piper also had, neither of them job. So like you can't put a title on him because he will never lose it, you know?
Bad News Brown, give us a little good news, will ya?
Moving on.
Moving on.
To the Mega Powers promo.
Oh, God.
Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage have a secret weapon having to do with Miss Elizabeth. And we're not going to find out what it is until the match.
The secret weapon. How can you get excited for a 110-pound woman as a secret weapon against 800-pound Andre and Ted DiBiase? I didn't think that added much to it. Hogan was so over the top that Macho fed into it. And Macho was always over the top. He fed off Hogan's energy, and they just began saying just stupid things. It was so ridiculous. And these are the guys that criticize Ultimate Warrior promos. Now, Ultimate Warrior was terrible, but this was not promo gold here.
Can you just imagine all the wrestlers going in the back and just having like a massive box of cocaine that people just like took a handful and sniffed it, and then they went to go cut their promos like, oh, we're gonna have a secret weapon and we're gonna do handshakes. We're gonna do handshakes in the middle of the match, brother. Like I can't imagine all the drugs that were going on behind the scenes in the WWF. But
oh my God,
it came out with Savage and Hogan right here. And Miss Elizabeth's just like, yep, this is what I put up with on a daily basis.
Now we go into one of the best workers and another underrated, underused guy, Rick Rude. He comes out and he talks to the audience. Those fat, ugly, inner city sweat hogs. That's motivation. If you're out of shape and you hear a guy in Rick Rude's shape say that, you're like, he's trying tough love with me. I'm going to get on that treadmill. He probably saved a lot of people from diabetes that night. What do you think?
No. I think you're completely misguided, and let me recommend BetterHelp to you.
Yeah?
Online therapy. We're not doing a commercial here. I'm just recommending my good friend go see a therapist.
I saw one once. You know what she said? It's a true story.
Stop calling people fat. If this approach that Rick Rude has really worked, then by the time SummerSlam 1990 rolls around, he can't call anybody fat or out of shape because he's inspired tens of thousands of people. And only in-shape people would come see a WWF event if they knew Rick Rude was going to be there. Would you agree to that?
Not necessarily, because like, if, let's say for argument's sake, I was sitting in the front row and Rick looked down at me and said, you fat, ugly, inner city sweat hog, I would go home and I would say, I'm going to show him in a couple years when I go to SummerSlam 90, when he faces the Warrior, that I'm in better shape. And I'm going to bring my heavy friend that's not doing anything about it with me so he can be inspired too. It's this ripple effect that would save the world. Don't you think?
It's like the butterfly effect where Geno gets a talking to from Rick Rude and then inspires millions of other people to get in shape. Well,
There you
I'm
go.
sure by the time 1990 rolls around, everyone will be in shape and he won't have cause to say it. So Rick Rude takes on who, Gino?
One of the best faces in wrestling history, the JYD. And
Oh,
unfortunately, as much as I love the JYD, he was not in fighting shape in this match. And it took a lot for Rude to carry this match, sadly. I love the JYD. When he was in fighting shape, he was awesome in the ring. Although limited, he made up for it in charisma. Here, it's almost like he gave up. And I hated to see it because for JYD, this was a really uninspired match. What did you think comparatively to the Harley Race match at WrestleMania 3?
yeah, he's definitely lost a step since, oh my God, it was only like a year and a half ago, right? WrestleMania 3. He was still over. Like, he was still
Yeah,
very over, but you could tell he didn't have the in-ring presence that he used to. And no amount of selling from Rude was going to be able to bring that back. But all things considered, with what Rude was dealing with, it was a pretty decent match. At the
yep,
end, Rude gets on the top rope and he pulls his pants down, which will also be a theme of the evening.
yeah,
And he's got Jake the Snake's wife airbrushed onto his jocks.
yes.
Again, I either haven't seen this or don't remember it, but like when he pulled his pants down, I was like, what the hell is he about to do? He's
I
going to
loved
show
it.
everyone in the inner city his sweat hog. And so, but then but it's like Jake's wife and like Jake comes running down and
Yep.
clobbers Rude, and JYD gets DQ'd, putting an end to this match, which I'm glad he did. But it's just like, what the fuck is about to happen?
When Jake the Snake Roberts came down and got the JYD disqualified, and JYD got up and is like, fuck, this was actually an opportunity to get JYD into the Heenan family. Have him turn heel, have him fuck Jake so Rude wins in their feud, and give JYD some legs as a heel because JYD is so good that he could do anything, and I think he's so uninspired because he came from wherever he was champion, he was the man, and he came to WWF and he was forgotten good guy. So I think he gave up, but they could have turned him heel here and given him life, and then a JYD in shape versus Jake feud would have been interesting.
The energies that both of those guys have, Jake's, really calm and quiet and, kind of calculating. And JYD is just kind of like a, like
Yep.
ready to like rough and tumble kind of guy. That would have been a really interesting matchup, I think. It's hard to convince people, especially in the 80s, to turn heel because your merchandise sales drop.
Unless you promise them a feud with Hogan, it's tough for sure. So we get the Honky Tonk Man, which I loved this interview. He's held on to the title for so long. He's so cocky, and he immediately says, "I knew Beefcake would never wrestle me." So he doesn't know who he's going to wrestle. They have a secret opponent, and he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want anyone else to know. He can beat anybody at any time, and he's been on quite a run since he beat Ricky Steamboat for the title. I loved Honky Tonk Man, even though his finishing move sucked. What do you think of Honky Tonk?
Never gave him much thought, but he's really funny.
Yeah.
So Honky's been Intercontinental Champion for 1 year, 2 months, and 27 days, and I'm sure that's going to be continuing after tonight.
Yeah, it has to be. Anytime you hear a secret opponent or mystery opponent, you know that mystery opponent will surely lose. Okay, so we get one of the arguably best teams of all time, up there with Chronic, the undisputed best team of all time. The Bolsheviks, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov, with their manager Slick, taking on the powers of pain that they saddled with Baron von Raschke. Slick comes out and he looks at the crowd and says he's never seen such a congregation of illiterate people. Now they've already been called sweat hogs. Now they're called illiterate. The New York City people are taking a beating tonight. What do you think?
Oh, but they're New Yorkers, so they like a little abuse. They like a little spice in their coffee.
That New York state of mind, if you will.
Inner city sweat hogs still can't get over that.
I love it. I love that old school heat where it's like I don't know what to do to piss them off. I'm just gonna go out there and insult them, and it's
Your
hilarious.
town smells like Dookie.
Well, even like back in the day with Steven Regal, when he came out with a Shakespeare book, and he's like, I'm going to read Shakespeare and enlighten you because I know how educationally behind the United States is. It's so fucking funny. I love this old school heat. Steven Regal got it. These guys got it. Slick got it. But the Bolsheviks never have a chance. You could put them against any team, they're going to lose. And they put them against the Powers of Pain, the Warlord, and the Barbarian with Baron von Raschke. Now, are you familiar with Baron von Raschke?
Oh, who the fuck is that?
Baron von Raschke was a Nazi sympathizer in AWA. Then he became
not like a real one, like a kayfabe one, right?
No, he was like Fritz von Erich. Like
okay.
He clung on to like the racist foreign heel thing, and it worked for him. He had the claw. He said all things that were very mean, and then all of a sudden he became a good guy in AWA. Started teaming with Sergeant Slaughter, fucking singing about the USA, how great it is. And now, for some reason, they put face paint on him and a fucking a shower robe on him, and they sent him to the ring with the Powers of Pain. I just think they didn't know what to do with the Powers of Pain. The Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they had.
How many Road Warrior ripoffs can one federation have? You got this, and you have Demolition. Pick one, because like Demolition can wrestle, but they're not very impressive looking. Powers of Pain are very impressive, but they can't fucking wrestle. Figure that shit out, Vince.
I'll push back a little bit. Warlord can't wrestle at all. I think the Barbarian's quite good, but the Warlord.
I'll grant you that because he was I know he was a head shrinker for like a hot minute in like '95. So he does have some skill, but like he's just one of those guys that's been around forever and never really went anywhere.
No, and he wasn't going to go anywhere when they put that furry shit all over him right afterwards. But yeah, so you had the knockoffs of the Road Warriors who started in the NWA, and they were a blatant knockoff intentionally at the time. I believe they were managed by Kevin Sullivan. I might be wrong. And to take out the Road Warriors. And then Vince saw those muscular guys and said, I want them.
So I want that bulge in my federation.
Bring the ball. and for those listening, that wasn't an actual recording. We get the Powers of Pain. We get a very clunky, ugly, botchy match that the crowd was not into at all, which is a very bad sign for the Powers of Pain that are really, I think they're debuting on the pay-per-view.
Oh, really? This was their debut?
I think this was the debut of the Powers of Pain on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, holy motherfuck. This was an awkward match. When you make Nikolai Volkov look like the ring general, like you're in trouble. Everybody in this match was terrible. They do a power slam and a headbutt combo, and the Powers of Pain win. Just, let's get it over with so we can get on to...
I felt bad for Boris Zukov. Boris Zukov was so terrified when he was being power slammed. If you saw the slow motion look on poor Boris's face, he sold the shit out of that. He was terrified. I felt bad for those Bolsheviks. And on top of that, when is Volkov ever going to be able to finish the Russian national anthem? Every fucking boxing match, whoever's in the ring, they'll play the British anthem, the American anthem, the German anthem, and they show respect. Those scumbag, illiterate sweat hogs didn't give Volkov the opportunity to finish the Russian national anthem. Were you as upset as I was?
No, I'm not a commie sympathizer like you.
Oh my God.
Wait till we review WrestleMania 6.
I can't wait. So we move on to I think it was your favorite segment of SummerSlam. TV evangelist Brother Love. They didn't take a big enough shot at Southerners here that they had to give him red skin. Now, this goes into my whole thesis that New Englanders, especially elitists like Vince McMahon, think very little of Southerners.
But Vince is a Southerner.
You can be self-hating too. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, sure, but like if you're gonna make a Connecticut blue blood elitist, and you got snobby Triple H or whatever, I mean, you're gonna poke fun at Southerners. You're gonna poke fun at like Southern California people, and you're gonna poke fun at New Englanders and English people and French people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he's particularly hard on Southerners. I
Do,
think
do
it's
you?
just there's a lot of Southerners in wrestling, and you always like turn your personality up to 11. Hillbilly
You
Jim, I'm sure, is only like a hillbilly at like maybe a 3 or a 4 in his everyday life. But like if you're gonna
yeah.
be hillbilly in wrestling, you got to be a 10 or 11. You know?
Do you think Brother Love gave a bad name to good men like Jimmy Baker?
No, I hate all of these people. Like this is the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not even like fun, like, oh, I hate you, like even
Nope.
like Morton Downey Jr. or like Piper's Pit, or like it's fun to hate it. It's just like this is fucking boring. And the way he talks is so slow, and it's so like his cadence is so annoying. I love
Oh
you.
God. I
I'm calling Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I don't want to see it. It's not like I hate it so much I have to watch. It's like I really just I want this to stop, and I want the ringing in my ears to stop every time he talks. You know?
and this was the first time in wrestling history where I said to myself, I wish it was scripted, because Hacksaw and what's Brother Love's real name? Pritchard. Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard.
They could not bounce off each other. Like there was no rhythm to this segment at all, and it went on far too long. It
Yeah.
wasn't funny, and it did Hacksaw no favors. Just a bad segment, and Brother Love has never been in a good segment, but this one was the worst that I've seen. What a waste of time. I'm with you. It's complete shit. Anything good from
As
it?
my, as my mind wandered over philosophical conundrums
Hmm.
during this promo, my soul left my body. But I did ask myself, like, is Jim Duggan supposed to be a ripoff of like Buford Pusser? He's talking about like this is my 2x4, and this is what I love, and I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, is it supposed to be Bo Svensson? Is it Bo Svensson?
I think that's who it is. I think that's the right name. But the walking tall guy, I think that's what they went with. They kind of leaned into it. Hacksaw was kind of lost at this time. And Hacksaw, even though people say he made it because of Hogan, I think Hacksaw kind of grew a little bit as he went on and kind of found some identity. Here, he's rudderless.
I don't think he's ever had a personality. I think he's just been an American dimwit, which kind of shows you what Vince thinks of like these pro-America people. It's like, yep, you're very American and you're a moron, and you got a big piece of wood. You make the big piece of wood look intelligent.
Yeah, I think you may not be far off the mark. Now we go into
But when Brother Love showed up, I was like, okay, you know what? Bring back Zukov, please.
Now we get the Honky Tonk Man defending his title against what happens to be the Ultimate Warrior. Now, when it comes to perfect pay-per-view moments, Hogan and Andre and Hogan and The Rock and Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, I think this moment, as bad as the Warrior is a perfect pay-per-view moment. What a pop from the crowd, and it was the launch of the Warrior. What did you think of this match, and would you rate it up there as a pay per view moment that stands out in like above many other moments?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I remembered who it was, who the mystery opponent was, but as soon as his music hit, I was like, "Oh my god!" You know, like I freaked out. It's like it's the Dingo Warrior blade running down the aisle. Like, I was just like, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was awesome as hell. I knew it was gonna be him, but I did freak out when he came out, and I was like transported to being like 6 years old again. The
Yep.
dude's energy is infectious. Like you can't
Yep.
help it. I mean, he's a fucking moron and he can't wrestle for shit, but like he has something. He has like he can't even talk. Like
Nope.
but like he does have a certain presence when he comes down the aisle and his music hits. It's like the perfect entrance. You know, it's like it just
Yep.
it does. It really hits. But then he has to wrestle, you know.
I think the Warrior is 80% Vince creation, 20% Warrior, because like before this, the Ultimate Warrior was the Dingo Warrior and part of the Blade Runners with Sting, and he had no personality. It was Vince that said he's got to be more than the modern day Warrior. He's got to be more than the Road Warriors. He's got to be the Ultimate Warrior. Then he had that music set up for him And I guarantee you, running to the mat and shaking the ropes, there were probably Vince ideas because I don't think the Ultimate Warrior has any idea about anything. And but he had a great physique. He was believable. I think Vince, if there's feathers in Vince's caps for creations, the Warrior has to be near the top because he took a guy of very little talent, very zero promo skill, and made him a megastar. And that's pretty impressive.
Very similar to like Goldberg. Goldberg had a very similar kind of wrestling pathology to him. You come to the ring, you don't say anything, you got an amazing entrance, you stomp the shit out of your opponent, and you walk the fuck out.
Yep.
Like it's pretty much the same setup as the Warrior. And
Yeah,
hey,
but
neither of them can wrestle and neither of them can talk. So go figure.
one of my favorite moments is when Bobby Heenan joins Gorilla Monsoon and Superstar Billy Graham. When you add Bobby Heenan to anything, it makes it 50 times better. And with Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan, I don't think there was ever a better duo in wrestling. Did you like Gorilla and Heenan together?
Keenan is like one of the most clever people, like in the entire industry's history. He's so funny. He's so clever. He knows exactly what every moment needs. His genius for wrestling is like unparalleled. And
Yeah,
so
I
when he
agree.
comes out and he's like Andre's in the back reading the Wall Street Journal, and DiBiase has like 4 golden suitcases, and Virgil's back there counting the money. I'm like, yep, thank you, Heenan. Like you sold this match way better than Hogan and Savage did with. We got a secret weapon, brother.
I wish they had him on commentary all night because I would have enjoyed this a lot more. Now, leading to another misfire here, Don Morocco, one of the best heels of all time, is now a good guy going against Dino Bravo with the wonderful, amazing Frenchie Martin in his corner holding a sign, USA is not okay. Now, he doesn't want to join Jacques and Raymond and become a U.S. citizen. He thinks the USA sucks. And I like that. I don't think the USA sucks, but I like that he's exploring the freedom of speech that we all have. Did you like Frenchie Martin, how he dressed and his sign?
I liked the America is not okay. That's just it's a really funny, childish thing to say. This match in and of itself is just incredibly forgettable. I looked down at my notes and I didn't remember it. Dino Bravo beats him with a sidewalk slam. That's it.
We get Jesse Ventura in a great interview. Jesse Ventura, another great promo guy. His career was cut too short. Obviously, he rebounded quite well. What did you think of the Jesse Ventura interview? Is anyone like he's one of the best? Wouldn't you think so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy was born to do this. He just has that personality. Another person who on commentary just elevates everything. He made a lot of WrestleMania 3, which a lot of it was shit. Like let's not kid ourselves. But like his commentary was incredible. Like there's just so much fucking like good talking talent in the Fed right now.
Yep.
Skipping ahead, there's like a thing, the $1 Million Man just like very like homoerotically starts putting like $100 bills into Jesse's jacket pocket and like feeling his lapel, and kind of sold it so well. Like what's going on? Like oh the money's so seductive. Given by how homoerotic that was, it takes a really solid performer to pull that off.
I like that. I like the fact that DiBiase can do what he wants, touch who he wants. He is almost like creature of power. Yeah, I like that. And it was, like you said, Jesse pulled it off, kept it together, did a good job, and added to the match. Is he on the take? He's reffing the main event. Will he be fair to Hogan, who he's had a feud with, and Macho?
That's the tension of the evening. Which takes us right into the Hart Foundation versus Demolition for the tag team titles. Dude, Demolition's song is fucking great.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know the words to it, but it's like dun 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 dun. And I'm just like, oh fucking dude, music back then was so rad.
It was awesome. It was a great song for them. So it's Action Smash, Demolition, great team. I know like they're considered Road Warrior knockoffs. They had their own vibe. They were inspired by the Road Warriors.
Wearing their Walmart S&M gear, yeah.
Yeah, but their wrestling style was different. But they were just like wrestlers and powerhouses.
You got Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie, who was the star of No Holds Barred. I mean, like, I can't believe they put him in a mid-card match like this.
And he was also...
He almost won an Oscar for that movie, I imagine.
I would think so. He was fantastic in that as Jake Bullet. At this point, he's a little bit long in the tooth. He's still holding his own. You get the Hart Foundation coming down. This is a real decent match. You can't get a bad match with these two teams. Demolition, though, they don't lose. They retain. And how do they retain? Do they retain fair and square there, Eric?
Of course not. They're cheating cheaters who cheated them out of the titles. Bret gets hit in the back of the head with a bullhorn that Jimmy Hart throws to Demolition. Interesting to say that, though, this is recently the Jimmy Hart was managing the Hart Foundation. He just sold their contracts or something like that. He screwed them over, but he was still contractually obligated to like come down to the ring for them or something.
Yes, he was.
There's something weird like that. He would just end up screwing the Hart Foundation all the time. It's just a cool little story thing because let's not kid ourselves. Bret and Anvil, they need a little oomph in their personalities there. What we don't get into in this match, we're going to get into in 1990 because they have the exact same match in 1990.
Do you know who the most impressive performer was in this match, in my opinion?
Smash?
Mr. Fuji. It took 6 punches from Jim the Anvil Neidhart to drop him. Did you see that in the corner when they were setting up the megaphone hit? That Jim kept punching Fuji with these right hands over and over again? And Fuji just keeps kind of like falling back and popping up, falling back and popping up. The referee's trying to separate it. Mr. Fuji waited for Bret Hart to get hit before he finally dropped. But it took 6 Jim the Anvil Neidhart right hands to drop the great Mr. Fuji.
Probably because Jim went to that spot too early, and Mr. Fuji knew he couldn't drop until a certain thing happened, so he just had to keep rope-a-doping him, like, oh, whoop, yeah.
Now we go into the backstage area where Honky Tonk Man is being consoled by many of the heels for losing his title, and especially Nikolai Volkov, who's really trying to console the guy. Nikolai knows about loss. He knows what it's like to try to sing the Russian national anthem and be cut off all the time. And he's trying to tell Honky Tonk Man, hey, you'll come back, but Honky is shooing them all away. Fuck everybody. I said I'd fight anyone. I didn't say I'd fight the Warrior. I thought this was a cool, angry promo from Honky Tonk Man. Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. I love sore loser heels.
Yeah, me too.
They've been trying to do this to me ever since I first got in the Federation. They finally done it. I didn't decide I was going to fight the Warrior. You know, it's like he's great. I love whiny heels.
Leading us to Big Boss Man Coco Beware. I wasn't surprised by this match, were you?
You weren't surprised by it?
By the outcome.
Oh. No, I didn't really know how long the Boss Man had been there, but he seems relatively new. Is this like his debut match?
I think it is. I think it's at least, at minimum, his debut pay-per-view match. You know, if the Bolsheviks are involved, or if Coco Beware is involved, their opponent is going to win.
Poor Coco, like he's just like a proving ground for all these other people. Like he was the first person to like take a tombstone by the Undertaker.
And it took a bad one.
He has to like hold him up by his shoulder or something like that. And
yeah, it was ugly. Very ugly.
But he's like a jobber to the stars. Dude, Boss Man in this is fucking great. I forgot how good Boss Man is.
I love the Boss Man.
He's a really good wrestler.
He is. Yeah, and he's quick for his size. And he was good even...
He doesn't punch like anybody else in wrestling. It's like, they're like straight punches. Like, he doesn't do the stomping thing. Like, they're really fast jabs and stuff. So, like, he's a very unique guy. He's a big guy. He can move. He could be a heel or a face, and they both kind of work. Obviously, he did his best work with nails, you know?
Yeah, the Boss Man actually did his best work when the corporation came about, and he was in shape, and he was wearing the riot gear or the SWAT gear. Yeah. I loved the Boss Man. I still take my hat off to him for dragging the Big Show's father's coffin away from the funeral with his car.
Didn't he also like cook up somebody's dog during that whole thing?
Oh yeah, he was consoling Al Snow for losing his dog, and then fed it to him, and then laughed as he was gagging on it. Yeah, the Boss Man became quite the heel back then, and I loved him for it. One thing I didn't love was the Warrior interview. Did this this guy sucks.
Sorry, just real quick, the Boss Man just like makes very short work of Coco. Boss Man slam done. But holy fuck, what happened here, dude? It starts out with all the baby faces are crowding around the Warrior and celebrating with him. But like as soon as he starts talking, they all just leave. He's just like, oh, we gotta go back. You know, he just spouts nonsense, right? He doesn't say anything of real substance. But they said something to the effect of like he was being interviewed by Sean Mooney, and Sean Mooney's like, "How do you feel?" Or something. He's like, me and all the Warriors, we're gonna go back on the spaceship, and he's never gonna find me because I'm on the spaceship. I'm gonna be where I am because I'm on the spaceship, and I'll be going to parts unknown, and that's a distant planet away. And you're like, you just watch everybody behind him just walk out of the shot. Just being like, oh, this is why you don't talk. Okay, yeah. And then it's just him rambling to himself. I bet if Sean Mooney left too, he would still continue talking.
They could have done with a run-throughs initially before going with that. That was just terrible, and it just shows how piss poor the Warrior is as a promo guy. Like I said, Vince 99% responsible for making him, because otherwise he'd just be the Dingo Warrior infinitely, and we'd never know him.
Yeah, I mean his promos are nonsense, but I can see how they would appeal to children. It's very childlike logic to his promos, but not if you're looking for anything of substance or to like get a match over. Yeah. Well, unless it's WrestleMania 6 and he's shoving airplanes into into parts unknown.
Hulk,
well, I'm sure we'll get there someday.
Yeah, we will. The next match it was disappointing because I like both guys, but it was a long, tedious, boring, dull match between Hercules and Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't think there was a feud. I think this was a filler match. Did you get anything from this match? Anything good from this match? Because I didn't.
No, I did a lot of research on Hercules during this match. You know, he's like an Air Force vet, was just really good in the ring. He was a very solid guy. Watching these and like Mania 3 and going back and watching, I'm becoming a big fan of Hercules. He's like a really fun to watch. He's a solid hand at wrestling, and he seems like a lovely guy. Yeah, Jake just pulls out a DDT at the end, and that's it. And then he takes the snake out and puts it on Hercules.
Yeah, very paint by numbers match. It was basically like a one level monotone match that crowd never got up for, I never got up for, and I like both guys, but bad match. It's the buffer leading to Mega Powers, Mega Bucks main event. Now, were you excited going into the main event after this great card of wrestling?
Actually, yeah, I kind of was. I know that I talk a lot of shit about Hogan, and I'm not going to, now that he's passed, I'm not going to pretend like I like him or anything like that, like as a person. But like, this dude is a showman. Like, you really are just attracted to him. He knows how to like hold your attention, and he knows how to like be intense. Has like the most insane promos. Talking about swimming and sharks and catching tidal waves and like all of this jazz, and you're just like, fuck, man. Yeah, I see the appeal. I get it. I was very excited for this match, and also I love Macho Man, and I love DiBiase. So
me too. DiBiase's awesome.
And I wonder though, I do wonder, and I didn't know if I put this together. Ted's from Nebraska, right?
I'm not sure.
The actual guy is from Nebraska. I was wondering, do you think that the $1 Million Man is supposed to be like Warren Buffett, who is also from Nebraska and is like the Oracle of Omaha, you know? I'm just wondering, do you think that's the connection there?
That might be, and knowing Vince has grudges and jealousy and all that stuff, so he may have made it based on that. Whatever the case is, DiBiase was certainly the best guy for the position. It's too bad he never had a run as champion, because he would have been an obnoxious heel champion. Would have been a lot of fun.
He could have been like a really good, like Ric Flair kind of champion, where he looks really easy to beat, but he always like ekes out a win in the end, you know?
Yes, and then laughs in the background at his victory, you know? I fucking love DiBiase so much. What a great showman. And they did a great job making Andre the Giant look unbeatable in this match. They, like when he beat up Savage, like I'm like, Andre's a force in there. And in reality, he couldn't lift anything, could barely move. The talent in the ring, Hogan and Savage, made him look like $1 million. what work by those two. Congrats to the team for making Andre look so good. I'm sure Andre appreciated it because he was in bad shape.
If Mania 3 was the start of his decline, like this definitely is continuing downward. I mean, he's only got like 5 more years?
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, the dude still draws you to him, so he still got it.
Did you feel weird when Hogan came out to Macho Man's music? Didn't it feel? It felt so strange for me for Hogan to walk to the ring with someone else's music playing and not having his own entrance. It was pretty unique because it didn't happen often.
No, but he should, because Macho's the champion. The champion should always be the most important person in the company, in my opinion. I figured if they played Macho's music in the beginning, they were going to play Hogan's music at the end, because there's no way that Hulk Hogan's not getting the last word. You know what I mean?
I agree. Now, I did notice something. You probably think exactly the same as I do here. Elizabeth had the same do as Ken Patera. So I would consider Elizabeth a hot Ken Patera. What do you think? Same?
She winds up in the same outfit as Ken Patera by the end of the night.
She does. Now, who do you who's prettier? I think Elizabeth
Liz and Ken Patera?
Yeah, like if you just had their heads, like you just saw their faces, like, and they both said, "Hey, give me a big kiss." I would lean towards Elizabeth. What about you?
I don't know. I feel like Ken Patera is more for, if this makes sense, is more for weekdays, and Miss Elizabeth's more for weekends, you know?
Yeah, I think Ken Patera is a last call.
All the lights come on and you're just like, all right.
Get out of here, Patera. I'm done with you. Yeah.
The third time this week.
Elizabeth, so we get the match, and the match is basically what you would expect. It was a good match, a decent match. Jesse Ventura seems to be leaning towards the bad guys a little bit in his officiating, and he's being kind of difficult for fun. In the end, they have a secret weapon, and you get the impression that Jesse Ventura, Andre the Giant, and the $1 Million Man have never seen a woman in panties. What do you think? Do you think that they just never got laid at that point?
They hang around like women wrestlers all the time. I don't know why. I guess it's because she's like more demure or whatever, and like, you would never expect something like that from Miss Elizabeth. Out of context, like scantily clad women don't really do anything for me, like. So I would just be like, okay, well, if everyone's distracted, I'm just gonna roll you up then, asshole. Like,
I think like she's very pretty. Just taking off the skirt to show a bathing suit bottom, it's $1 Million Man. He gets babes all the time. Jesse Ventura obviously doesn't have an issue with women. Andre, maybe. It made no sense. It was stupid. And Macho Man and Hogan doing the exaggerated handshake was about as stupid and lame as I've ever seen in any wrestling match.
Hogan, our plan worked. Yeah, brother. Like,
and that's
let's go in there and get him, man. Like, you know what I hate though is like all of Macho Man's like major angles were over Liz from like the beginning to like 1992 when they started feuding over his hat. Macho was never allowed to have like a proper feud that didn't involve Liz in some way, shape, or form.
I would argue that Ricky Steamboat, even though you had George Animal Steel and Liz somewhat on the outskirts of the feud, I think Steamboat was as close to a perfect feud for Macho Man before and after WrestleMania 3. But you're right, though. There was Hogan and Elizabeth, George Animal Steel and Elizabeth. They fed into his whole...
and Elizabeth, Ric Flair and Elizabeth. When he broke up with Elizabeth to be with Sherry, I was like, thank God. But then he had crap feuds.
It was bad.
But a lot of it had to do with his woman. Like Sherry was always involved in his feuds. And it's like, come on, man, do something. Macho hits an amazing diving elbow, which is like, his elbows are so precise, aren't they? He makes it look easy as fuck, but like dropping an elbow like that doesn't kill the person you're jumping on is a really an amazing talent. So he hits the elbow, and then Hogan hits the leg drop. 1, 2, 3. That's it for DiBiase. And Hogan throws Liz's skirt into the crowd. Did you catch this? They put in fake crowd noises in there. Did you catch that?
I heard that. I did.
They were chanting Hogan. Dude, he's over like Rover. Like, they'll cheer for him when it's time to cheer for him. I don't know if it was in the arena or if it was just for television, because I know they do that. I know they pumping crowd noises for television. Very suspicious Hogan chants. And if you look at the audience, you're like, nobody's chanting for Hogan, dude.
No.
But also, one cool thing was like Hogan gives Liz a hug, and like you see Macho Man watching. Like,
yes.
out of the corner of his eye, and he like gets just like the smallest bit of suspicion about him, and I'm like, oh, there it is. Like, there's that little seed. And when the WWF wants to, they can be so good at storytelling.
And they were. I saw that too. That was a great nod to the feud that's coming up. Beautiful work. SummerSlam '88, best match of the night. What would you give it to?
Demolition and the Hart Foundation, or Bulldogs and Rougeaus.
Worst match of the night.
Bolsheviks versus the Powers of Pain.
Bastard. Best moment.
Warrior. Yeah, that's so iconic.
Yeah.
Warrior coming out. Amazing.
And worst moment?
Anything having to do with Brother Love. I wanted to tear my ears off.
And finally, the MVP of the night.
Well, Bobby Heenan would seem so obvious to say Bobby Heenan. But so I'm gonna go with Bad News Brown.
Nice.
He surprised me. How about you? What was the best match of the evening?
I went with the Rougeaus and the Bulldogs. A great match. I love the Rougeaus. That bench press headbutt move was a lot of fun. I was only upset with the ending. So that would be the best match. Worst match would be Jake and Hercules. Very, very boring. Had a hard time getting through it, and I like both guys. They're just not good dance partners, and they had no motivation.
Best moment?
Best moment would be the Ultimate Warrior winning the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm. And worst moment?
The Brother Love Hacksaw Jim Duggan interview.
And finally, Geno, who is the MVP of SummerSlam '88?
The MVP by a country mile is Outlaw Ron Bass for keeping that shithead Beefcake off the fucking card. That's my guy.
I didn't even think about that. The guy who didn't show up, but made the other guy not show up too.
Yes.
Thank you, Outlaw Ron Bass.
Outlaw Ron.
May you live outside of the law perpetually.
We love you, Ron Bass.
Fuck that caught me off guard.
All right, so every episode we give you a 2-minute window, but we don't hold you to it for your 2-minute movie review, where you enlighten us with a film that the fans will want to check out because it usually gets your stamp of approval, or maybe one we want to avoid because you think it dumps ass. Now, what do you have lined up for us this week in your 2-minute movie review?
I have two terrific movies for you. The first one is Together by Michael Shanks, starring Dave Franco and Allison Brie. It's about a city couple who are on the skids, and they buy a house in a small town and are overtaken by a force that makes them form a strange bond. This is an excellent body horror movie with a great metaphor for codependency. It is bonkers, off-the-wall kind of horror comedy with like really dark edges. It was just incredible to watch. Although for some reason, IMDb lied about what time the movie started, so I end up coming 20 minutes late. So maybe the beginning sucks. I don't know. Probably not. The movie was great. And then, Geno, I saw this movie called Weapons. It's written and directed by Zach Kreger, who's like the new horror guy on the scene. He did that movie Barbarian, which was really fucking good. Starring Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. One night at 2:17 a.m., several children mysteriously just run out of their houses and into the darkness, and nobody knows why. The kick is they all come from the same classroom. So naturally, the town all blames the teacher. I'm not going to say much more than that. This movie has excellent characters. It's very unnerving. It's not really jump scary so much. It has a few, but like it's just got that tone and that like vibe of terror and dread of like what you don't know. Why did these kids run out of the house? What the hell is going on? Why is it all from this one classroom? There's one kid in the classroom that didn't run away. He's not saying anything. Like, what the fuck is going on? And this movie explores what happens when a town doesn't know what's going on and how everybody reacts and how everybody is looking for something to blame. It is surreal in places, but it just has an overwhelming sense of dread. I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you love horror movies, this is a great fucking movie to watch. It'll have you hooked and on the edge of your seat. And again, I'm going to give this PSA one more time. If you talk in movie theaters, I'm going to kill you. Don't talk in movie theaters. Be respectful to your fellow audience members. Just shut the fuck up for 2 hours and enjoy a movie. I don't want to get into what happened, but oh my God, people should be physically harmed. That is my 2-minute movie review.
I'm with you there. Turn off your cell phones, shut the fuck up, and enjoy the experience. No one wants your commentary. Before we get into SummerSlam 90, I feel I need to do my quick 2-minute movie review because I saw a movie that is just so amazing and so much fun and so good called The Child from 1977. And I'm a huge 70s horror fan. This movie is about this young girl. She's about 12. She lost her mother. She's very disruptive, and no nanny or babysitter can handle her. So this one nanny shows up, and she's trying to be her friend. And the kid's like, I have enough friends, and my friends don't like you very much. And the kid keeps disappearing until finally the nanny tracks her down to a cemetery. And she's like, oh, you're here to see your mother? No, I'm here to see my friends. And the movie keeps getting creepier and creepier. There's some weird dream sequences. Anyone that crosses this girl ends up dead in this film. The ending sequence of this film is reminiscent of Evil Dead, but it's got its own vibe. It is creepy as fuck. And I was by myself cheering so much that I woke up my family. They thought something was wrong, but I was having such a good time yelling at the screen because of what I was seeing. It's 80 minutes. It flies by. I was upset it was over. The Child, 1977. I cannot recommend it enough. Loved it.
Fantastic, my man.
Thank you, sir. So we go into 1990. A couple of years have passed since SummerSlam 88. We have Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon as the commentators. I am not a fan of either. What did you think of this team for this event?
I really liked Piper on commentary. I think he's hilarious. His comic timing is incredible. And Vince is just there, you know what I mean? He's there to do the play-by-play and, do that, which Roddy's not going to do. I thought they complemented each other very well. Vince is kind of the voice of wrestling from my childhood, so he kind of gets a pass. But he does that weird voice sometimes.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, it's Hulk Hogan's last match, and I thought that Piper was really good on commentary. I disagree with you on that one.
Don't you find it kind of shitty when it's a face commentary team? There's no heel there. Like when a Heenan or Paul Heyman or even Jerry Lawler when he was a heel be better thrown in there rather than Vince and Piper cheerleading for every good guy all night?
Yeah, but I think Roddy kind of walks that edge, and I think he does it pretty well. He's not as good at it as Jesse or Heenan. He's just got really funny one-liners and like really funny timing for a lot of these matches.
Piper definitely is good comparatively to Vince. I'll give you that. Now, we talked about the Rougeaus being a team that wasn't used properly, that had so much potential. We talked about Chronic being the best team of all time. But
did we say that? Did we agree on that?
One of us said it. I know that.
One of us said it. Yeah, sure. I don't recall it being me though. So
maybe it was me, but they had that great move, High Times. Wonderful. But we have the unlikely team that had the world of potential. These guys could have been the team. Power and Glory. Paul Roma and Hercules managed by Slick against the Rockers. Now, you want to talk about missed opportunity. Do you agree with me that Power and Glory had everything going for them and could have owned wrestling had they been managed right?
Holy fuck, yes. And not just something that's fed to like LOD. Like these guys could have been like a legitimate tag team. and this is their debut, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
And they come out. They just attack Shawn before the bell.
Yep.
Shawn, you can see Shawn's limping already, like as he's coming out. He doesn't have the pep in his step that he usually does. And what an interesting approach to wrestling matches. Well, the bell hasn't rung, so everything's legal. So it's just like knock the guy out, you know?
Yep.
And Shawn's on the floor for the entire match. Marty's got to go in there by himself, but he's just like completely dominated by this incredible team. Paul Roma, maybe he's not on the level of like a Horseman or anything like that, but wow, he was really impressive. Just like the dude is stacked, he's built, he's very physically impressive, he's very agile, as you can see from their finishing move. I don't know what their finishing move is called, the Power and the Glory or whatever. Hercules hits superplex. And Paul does a splash off the top rope. And the timing that they had was so perfect that you cannot be but impressed with these. And the fact that they didn't do anything with them, fucking A, man.
It's disgusting because you're right. They fed them to the Road Warriors. And then Hogan no-sell that finish. And they were destroyed.
That's such bullshit. I would love to sort of scour the network and find them versus the Hart Foundation or them versus the Rockers in their prime. You know what I mean? Like both of them. Marty's a really good wrestler. Like I don't think he ever gets credit for how good he is, but like he made these guys look like fucking gods.
They had a great look, chemistry in promos. They had chemistry in the ring. They had the gloves and
the belly tops.
Yeah, Power and Glory is a big missed opportunity for the WWF. They could have been champions easy. They could have dominated. What they lack in like the Road Warrior musclehead thing, they made up for in viciousness. And that was awesome. And Paul Roma was always a missed opportunity. They made the guy a fucking jobber. When he can have those great matches, he can do all those aerial moves. He was ahead of his time. Imagine if they actually gave him like the push he deserved. He could have been even singles feuds with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, but they did nothing with him.
I think that's kind of a thing that Vince does. Like he gets big stars from other promotions and benches them. When you think about like what he was doing with Steamboat, when he hit like Steamboat and Ric Flair were like putting on these like clinics, you know, and then he bought Steamboat and was like, all right, you can just like kind of sit the mid card. But they pull off this amazing finisher, and Shawn Michaels gets taken away on a stretcher. He had a legitimate knee injury, so he wasn't going to do this. And that leads us right into Mr. Perfect with Bobby Heenan versus the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich.
Oh, my God. I loved the interview with Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan. I did, too. Where
he's like, Perfect is always like, I'm perfect. It's perfect. And Bobby Heenan starts talking about tornadoes.
The worst they can do is turn over some trailers in a hick park. What the fuck, man?
On the panhandle.
The panhandle. Bobby Heenan is gold. Him and Perfect together are wonderful. And the fact that he is just going out of his way to insult people. There was no need to bring up a trailer park, but he did it anyway. We also have the Kerry Von Erich interview, which isn't nearly as good in my opinion.
I had no idea who this guy was. I don't know if I said this. Like SummerSlam 90 is the first wrestling I ever watched. This was the first exposure to wrestling I ever had. And so like all these people were brand new to me. And just like everybody was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, you know? And so like I thought Texas Tornado was fucking awesome with his like,
oh God,
kind of spacey. The way he talked was kind of spacey. Like there's a tornado in his head or something. He's like, yeah, let me tell you about Texas Tornadoes. They're powerful. They're unpredictable, you know? And he's just like, I'm going to take the championship belt with me. I was like, yeah, great. Awesome. Cool.
Yep.
He's got a tornado on the brain.
In this match, basically, you have two legends in the ring because you have Mr. Perfect, who was AWA heavyweight champion. Kerry Von Erich was world-class championship wrestling champion. You have these guys coming together. These guys deserved much more. Like, Perfect should have been world champion easy. Kerry had issues, unfortunately. But Kerry was another guy, world-class, not the best promo, but a great in-ring performer. And when you factor in that at this point, he's a leg short, and he still wrestles.
He's so physically impressive. He's huge. Just like one of those, like, massive Texas boys, you know. It was funny because I think you and I both watched The Iron Claw.
Yes.
The movie about the Kerry Von Erich family, and it's played by this guy who's like 5'8" and like, I don't know, maybe like $170, but like Texas Tornado's like 6'5" and he's like 250 pounds.
Oh
and
my
just like,
God.
wow, dude is so impressive. And like when he got to the ring and he's like, you know, he's like kind of just taking the ring in, he's like pointing at Heenan, just like, hey, yo, you better stay right there. I was like, that's like, this dude's a fucking pro. And knows exactly what he's got to do in the ring. So he and Perfect together. It's not much of a match. There's a couple of hip tosses. Mr. Perfect dominates for a little bit. Tornado throws him into the post, puts on the claw hold, does a discus punch.
But
Mr. Perfect twirls in the air like he got hit by a tornado. And then 1, 2, 3, and Texas Tornado is the IC champion. I wanted this match to be like 10-15 minutes, dude. You know, but have these guys can both go, like, put on a clinic.
Well, I didn't like the fact that they just call him the Texas Tornado. He's Kerry fucking Von Erich. Call him Kerry Von Erich. You know, the fact that Vince had issues with anyone that was a star coming from somewhere else, that he had to relabel them. Everyone knows he's Kerry Von Erich. I like the fact that he was able to use the claw and then the discus punch, because the claw was his finisher, but they went with the punch. Short match, fun match. But I'm with you. They could have put on a great match.
I think Vince changes their names for like merchandising rights. This is my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He changes Kerry Von Erich to Texas Tornado so he can trademark Texas Tornado. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, you can put American Dream on a T-shirt and sell that, because you can't copyright somebody's name. So he changes everybody's name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Terry Bollea is Hulk Hogan. And I think that's also why Ultimate Warrior ultimately changed his name to Warrior so he could get the merchandising rights. That's just my opinion. I have no facts to back that up.
Now we go into the post interview, which is even funnier, with Heenan. Heenan storms into Gene Okerlund and is furious and is ranting. And the minute Gene opens his mouth, Heenan goes, "You better shut up or I'll knock you out." Like Bobby, and
he's in utter hysterics.
Yeah, the shoulder was up. He was flat on his back for 10 seconds. Oh God, loved it.
Fuck me.
Heenan is so good.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever had a better managerial relationship with anyone that he did with Mr. Perfect. They're so, I don't want to use the P word. They're so good together. I don't think Kurt Hennig needs a manager.
No,
because he can cut a pretty good promo. But like him and Bobby Heenan, he just makes everything better. How do you improve on perfection? Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan, I fucking love that guy. Everything he's done in wrestling has been hilarious. Okay, now
God damn it.
Now everyone calls Sapphire Sweet Sapphire. We have Sherry in the ring. Sherry Martel, another missed opportunity here. Sherry should have been to the women's division. So good. Former AWA champion, great heel, great manager. She had a good career, but it could have been so much better. And now she's scheduled to fight the useless Sweet Sapphire, Dusty Rhodes' unfortunate sidekick. And Sweet Sapphire, no shows. They speculate that she has been bought off by the $1 Million Man. Could there be anything worse on a pay-per-view than this Sweet Sapphire storyline?
Brother love.
It's close. It's close for me.
The benefit of it is, and let's just get it out of the way now. Like, Sapphire has been bought by Ted DiBiase right under, like, from Dusty Rhodes' nose. And everybody's looking for her throughout the night. DiBiase paid her off, and DiBiase takes her away. I didn't know this, but like apparently Dusty and Sapphire are supposed to be married.
What?
They're supposed to be like in a relationship.
I never knew that.
That's what they keep alluding to, that they were like together, and she betrayed him that way.
Oh, well, Dusty can do better.
Yeah. What if Sapphire's Cody's mom?
Oh. No. Cody would be 3 feet tall. Bridge too far.
Bridge too far.
I did like Dusty being interviewed. I can't find my Sweet Sapphire anywhere. And then Hacksaw walks in. I've been looking for her all the time, Dusty. I'll keep looking though. And I'm like, he reminded me of Patrick from SpongeBob. I'm like, this guy.
Well, thank God Hacksaw Duggan's on the case.
I like that Hacksaw went from the tough guy, American rah 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 in '88 to a complete dummy.
I don't think he ever stopped.
I like Hacksaw.
So Sherry and Sapphire are supposed to have a match, but you can tell Sherry's not dressed for wrestling. She's wearing heels and has like a long like evening gown on. You're just like, you're not having a match. So Sapphire doesn't come out, and then nobody can find her for the rest of the night. Can we be done with Sapphire?
Yeah,
Do we have to talk about it anymore?
A little bit maybe, but let's go to Tito Santana, one of the best of all time, against the clunky, immobile, musclehead Warlord in a basic squash match. This match upset me. I like Tito Santana too much to watch him used and abused like this.
Tito he's an unsung hero. Like, he does so much, and he never gets the recognition he deserves. That being said, I thought the Warlord was great in this match. I know a lot of it was Tito, because Tito is basically just like jumping around him. Tito tries to do a monkey flip, and like the Warlord just like fucks him off with his hips and like throws him halfway across the ring. I really liked it. I thought this was a great match. The Warlord is massive. Tito just looks so sad trying to mount a comeback. He hits him with his finisher, the flying forearm, but he can't get it done. Power slams him, and that's it. No shenanigans, no nothing like that. Clean win. I'm sorry, Tito. You're really good. I see how good of a wrestler you are. You never got your chance. Wait till the Matador gimmick comes around, then you'll be on top again.
God. Poor Tito. I did like,
so racist.
It's wrestling.
All right, so we move on to Sean Mooney interviewing Demolition. There's Crush has finally been added to the team of Demolition. So now it's Crush, Smash, and Axe. They're talking about Legion of Doom. This isn't a political comment or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, did you notice how much Sean Mooney looks like Tucker Carlson?
There is a Tucker resemblance for sure. The hair,
right?
Yeah, the rigidness in his shoulders.
They both wear bow ties. I watched a lot of Sean Mooney, like in these, and I was just like, "Fuck, motherfucker, looks like Tucker Carlson."
Yeah.
So this is the Demolition versus the Hart Foundation Tag Team Champions. 2 out of 3 falls match. Mean Gene interviews the Hart Foundation. And you can tell Anvil really carries Brett, because Brett doesn't really have that much to say. And Brett says this one line that he's so proud of at the end. He goes, "What we have here is 2 hearts beating as one."
Oh, God. And he smirks.
And he smirks, and he's like, "Yeah, you like that line? Do you like a little Phil Collins in your promos?"
Oh, God. Well, poor Brett. Yeah, he actually thought that was good.
I'm sure he was like thinking up heart quotes all day.
Before that, with the Demolition interview, it was one of the worst Demolition interviews I've seen. So you bring in Crush, who's supposed to be this menace, and what did he say? The Hart Foundation need their butts kicked. No badass will say you need your butt kicked. Took away from Crush, who many may not know was also part of Chronic, the best team I've ever made.
What's the name of the team?
Oh, Chronic.
Oh, okay.
I'll
look him up.
You should. The man who went by Wrath and Crush together in the best team ever that got fucked over by WWE.
I'm sure they are the atom bomb.
What a missed opportunity. But we go into the Hearts against Demolition. Not the best of matches, in my opinion. We get LOD, the watered down Road Warriors, coming to the ring to sabotage Demolition. This pissed me off. The Road Warriors should never be faces, and certainly they should not have interfered. It took away from the Hearts win. I would have liked to see the Hearts win clean here. What do you think?
Even like the second fall was like a weird fall. They hit the heart attack, and then instead of like breaking up the pin, Crush attacks the referee for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's like it had to do with like him just being a noob and like, not knowing the rules or something. They end up getting DQ'd anyway, so like the same outcome, but whatever. LOD coming down. I mean, they got a huge pop though. You always hear about that legendary Road Warrior pop. Yeah. They got it in this one. They come down, they dole out some justice to Demolition, and then Hart's been him. I loved it. I thought this was a great match. Bret Hart is obviously the greatest wrestler of all time. He made Crush look like a killer, even though Crush sucks.
Well, one, Crush does not suck, but two, Bret Hart is good. I give you that. One of the best in-ring performers. I was upset because the Road Warriors in NWA, AWA were badass. They weren't good guys. They weren't bad guys. They were just tough motherfuckers that couldn't be stopped. And here, want to be Bret Hart's friends. We're friends. Maybe they'll give us a title shot one day, but we're friends. That's bullshit. I'm glad the Hearts won, though. I'm with you there.
Did you notice that Hawk in the promo gives Anvil's beard a reach around?
I did see that. Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if Geno caught that.
Now we get the Queen Sherry interview. I loved the fact that she was so proud that she won. Sherry is a great interview, kind of like the Honky Tonk Man in the last one, where she's like, the smartest thing she did was not fight me. I loved it. I love Sherry. The Big Boss Man interview is next, right? Or am I wrong?
He ain't afraid of no snakes.
The Big Boss Man, they have turned him face, and he's now going to referee Bad News Brown, Jake the Snake Roberts, another stinker all around. What did you think of the Boss Man's?
He's a good promo. I kind of like him as a promo. His refereeing skills and his whole, I forget what he says he's doing in the Hogan match, keeping the peace or keeping order or something like that, sucks. Mm-hmm. And he failed on all of those counts. But he's a good promo. I like. He's got a lot of conviction.
Take it or leave it. I thought it was a little sucky. This leads to another interview, and I am so disgusted by Nikolai Volkov. One, he has betrayed the Bolsheviks. He has betrayed Boris Zukov by sucking up to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and on top of that, calling Hacksaw his idol, basically like forgetting Hacksaw is the motherfucker that hit you with the 2x4 when you sang the national anthem, you idiot. Fuck Nikolai Volkov. He screwed Boris. What do you think?
Oh, wait, when Volkov wants to become American, we're supposed to cheer him. But when the Rougeaus want to become American, boo.
Yep.
God damn it. This guy is fucking everywhere. It's like Hacksaw and Volkov are like Dumb and Dumber. And like, I hated every second of this. I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He's like, this is an Orient Express. We're the American Express. And don't leave home without her.
I did like that. I thought that was funny.
I thought that would be clever if you could fucking understand it on the first go and not have to rewind it 100 times to figure out what the fuck he was saying. But luckily, we're saved by an Earthquake Dino Bravo Jimmy Hart promo.
Now,
thank you.
I like Earthquake. I do. I think the whole going back and forth like he's having stomach issues was stupid. Don't you think it would be more imposing if he stood there with his arms crossed rather than Hulk Hogan! Everything he says, he yells and he stomps his feet back and forth. Don't you think it would be better if he was more like subtle and not acting like he had too many tacos from Taco Bell?
A 450-pound man in a singlet is never going to be subtle. So just like, fuck no, I loved it. Just a big screaming promo. And just like shouting out, Hogan, I'm coming for you, and talking about how he squashed him on television. Just great shit. Good stuff. Quake is dope.
Good in-ring performer. By all accounts, another great guy. It sucks that he really didn't take off. He's so memorable, but he was never that monster heel an Andre or King Kong Bundy was. It was there. He had something, but it was never really flushed out.
I feel like he's one of those guys you could have brought back for every like new champion. You could have kept him on the payroll. He comes out, he squashes Hogan. Hogan's got to face him. He comes out, he squashes Warrior. Now Warrior's got to face him. Like he could have just been like someone you keep on the payroll, like almost like a Brock Lesnar, who's just like you have to come out and like test your mettle against like Earthquake. Like, imagine after Brett won the championship in 92 or 93, Earthquake's the guy he's got to face at WrestleMania. Yoko's fine. He's huge, but like he can't move. The match you could have with this guy, he would have made Brett look like a superstar. Shawn Michaels too. Just like hold on to this guy. This guy is fucking money. And just have him squash Coco like every week on Superstars.
Yeah, even have him in a handicap match against the Bolsheviks.
Yeah, Volkov turns on Zukov and the earthquake takes him down.
Yeah, you're right. The earthquake. He could have been another Vader. Like he could have been that guy.
Yeah. Oh, easy. And he's a better promo than Vader for sure.
Yeah.
If you let him wrestle, he's a good wrestler too. Like he has that sumo background. He could have been your top heel in the company going forward instead of almost useless Yokozuna.
I agree. He's a much better menace than Yokozuna.
Holy fuck,
was.
he beat Yokozuna
Well,
in a sumo match.
Oh God, yes. I think the less we talk about that, the better. But we get
Jake and Bad News.
A terrible match. I love Bad News Brown. I love Jake the Snake. There was no chemistry in this match, and Bossman as the referee muddled it all up. This was a fucking train wreck of a match. Did you get anything good out of this match?
Nope, there's no Ghetto Blaster. There's no DDT. It's supposed to be Harlem Sewer Rats versus Damien. That never really comes into play except for the end when... Okay, first of all, the big boss man was brought in to like keep the law and order as the ref. Jake gets hit twice with a chair and doesn't get DQ'd the first go around. So like, boss man, you suck. And then at the end, you wind up getting beat up by Bad News anyway. Then Jake has to save your ass with the snake. And it's like, so what the fuck were you there for? I found this interesting. I'll tell a quick Bad News story. Andre was saying some racist shit on the tour bus.
Yes.
And Bad News finally had enough of it. He called out Andre like off the bus and is like, let's fucking fight. And Andre is supposed to be like the locker room like enforcer.
Yes,
but like
yes.
Andre backed down and wound up apologizing to Bad News. I just found it so fascinating that Andre the Giant was scared of this man. And he never gets brought up like in terms of like Haku and like, you know, all those like legit tough guys backstage. But goddamn, like he put the fear in Andre the Giant. So mad respect to Bad News Brown. Except for the fact that this match sucks.
The match sucked. No chemistry. Bad News. Yeah, that is a reported true story. I heard it as well. Bad News is a legitimate badass. You don't become a gold medalist in the Olympics in judo if you can't fight. So we go into Demolition in another terrible interview. Like, I like Demolition. They typically do interviews, but Smash keeps on just making funny faces. What is
I loved that. I thought that was great.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's just mugging. You know, I know a lot of these guys are like really fucking dangerous. Like they're like dangerous guys, but like I'm watching Barry Darsow smash like fucking just going blah, 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 to the camera. I was like, he looks like a lovely guy. He just seems like someone who would make you laugh on the road. You know what I mean?
I've seen him in interviews. He seems like a very pleasant guy, and he's been around the game for a long time.
No,
like,
he just seems great, and he apparently in very good graces with Vince McMahon.
Now that leads us to Brother Love. 2 years later, he's still here, and still as useless, obnoxious, annoying. If they're going to cut stuff off on the WWE network, Brother Love should be on the cutting room floor. He is interviewing Sergeant Slaughter, and I have to say, as much as I hate Brother Love, I like heel Slaughter. When he called Volkov Pinko, Kami, Maggot, Scum, he couldn't just pick one insult. He threw 4 in there. And I kind of like when people really lay on insults. Do you like heel Slaughter as much as I do?
No, my God, it was so fucking boring to listen. Brother Love with this dumb cadence of like, well, you hear Sergeant Slaughter, and Sergeant Slaughter being like, ultimate puke, you are gonna like the greatest American except for Nikolai Volkov. I'm like, oh my God, this was worse than SummerSlam 88. Brother Love found a way to make himself the most hated thing on the planet. How long did this go on? Like 6 or 7 ice ages?
Something like that.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to hear you. I don't know if I said this before, but I'm just like, it's not the kind of heat that's like makes me hate it. It's the kind of heat that makes me want to die.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's just useless. The character's terrible. I'm not sure why they kept going with it. We're here 2 years later, and it's still going.
I know
Sar-
they're setting up Sergeant Slaughter to be the bad guy, the Saddam sympathizer
yep.
bad guy for WrestleMania 7, which they think is going to have 100,000 people there.
Oh God.
Good luck, Vince, with this fucking brother love bullshit.
I think Slaughter is a great heel. He was just misused. The in-ring work from Slaughter, very good, very believable, kind of like a Stan Hansen. I like the fact that he's a military guy who just feels betrayed by the country. There was things they could have done with Slaughter to make him a better heel and made him more sophisticated. Instead of just saying, Americans, you all suck, you pukes, he could have been like, we should have never invaded Iraq to begin with. That sort of approach, I think, could have really worked even at this time in history. What do you think?
No, I like Sergeant Slaughter. He's not that guy. He's not that good on a promo to like be elevated to like a Mania main event status. Like he's not there. And it sucks to go from Earthquake, where you could legitimately build a good main event around this guy, and you're gonna go with this fucking like lame ass angle. Iraqi sympathizer to like get heat from like people like really being fucking killed in the battlefield. Like fuck you.
I don't know. I think Slaughter had it. I just think that they misfired on the approach. But if you made Slaughter sadistic, where he did the camel clutch, which is a good move, but he wouldn't let it go. Whoever you chose as the person he did it to, whether like a mid-level guy like Tito Santana, where he'll never wrestle again, where they made it where someone has to stop this guy. He's gone bonkers. It could have worked, I think.
If they were allowed to go in like darker directions like that, maybe not at this time, and not against Hogan. Like, not the right guy. It's not the right time. Can't cut a good promo. He's not intimidating. Like, you'd never suspect that he was going to beat Hulk Hogan. There's no tension there as to like, is Hulk Hogan going to win or not? This is just like the lamest person they could have chosen. If they had put Hogan in there, the WrestleMania 7 main event, Hulk Hogan versus Jake Bullitt, I would have said, that's a main event, my friend. This God. Oscar winner, you know.
We will have to agree to disagree on Sergeant Slaughter, the Iraqi sympathizer, and we will move on to Mean Gene finds Sapphire, but they are interviewing the Orient Express, and their interview gets cut off over the Sapphire bullshit. Can you take anything good from the Orient Express interview, from the Orient Express tag team, from the Orient Express Hacksaw Volkov match, or from Gene finding Sapphire?
Orient Express is actually, when they get a good opponent, they're a pretty good tag team. The matches they had with the Rockers is really good. I don't like Hacksaw. I don't like Volkov. And by themselves, the Orient Express does nothing for me. Even Fuji couldn't save this shit.
No.
So they go to the ring. It's basically just a squash match where Duggan does like his 3-point stance clothesline shit, and that's the end of it. I really don't want to talk about Sapphire anymore. Let's just move on to the next match.
And the next match involves $1 Million Man buying Sapphire. We got Dusty Rhodes.
So when Dusty cuts a promo, did you notice his forehead and his arms are all cut up?
Yeah, he's got
like huge scars on them.
He gave his life to the business. He bladed himself like crazy. Dusty versus Macho Man, a match that could have been great, lasts about 3 minutes. They have the focus on Sapphire. $1 Million Man buys Sapphire. She's smiling with all the diamonds and fur coat. And then Macho Man hits Dusty with a purse. 1, 2, 3, it's over. What a disappointing match. They could have got rid of the bad news match and made that match longer. I would have been okay with Dusty winning it. They fucked Dusty. Dusty is one of my favorites, one of the best of all time. And this match, and the fact that it was over Sapphire, sucked. Fuck this match. It's bullshit. Don't you agree?
This should have been match of the night. Like these two wrestling titans coming together, but like, fucking stupid fucking bullshit Sapphire nonsense. It just became an angle. It's not a fucking match at all. Like, you get a drop kick out of Dusty. When they were actually doing the thing, they were cooking pretty well together.
Yes.
It's just so disappointing. Then nothing happened after that. Dusty lost, and we never heard from Sapphire or the $1 Million Man ever again.
Sapphire should have never been brought in. Dusty should have never been squashed. Dusty should have been champion. They put polka dots on the poor man, and he still was the most popular guy. They can't shut it off. Dusty was that good. We get to Hogan being interviewed, and this is a case of a Hogan endorsement doesn't always help you. He was trying to push Tugboat in a big way. Were you convinced to be a Tugboat fan after Hogan's endorsement?
I never liked Tugboat. I liked him when he became Typhoon. I didn't get the whole Tugboat thing. I'm like, well, how are you like a Tugboat?
Yeah,
What?
I liked him as Shockmaster.
I'll...
He was
It's gonna shock the world.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah, I guess like it's probably one of those things where the guy was like, yeah, I worked on a tugboat for like 3 months. Is like right after college or something. Vince's like, bam, your name is Tugboat now.
Terrible.
His whole thing, like, no,
Oh
I'm sorry.
my God.
Please stop. But anyway, he got squashed by Earthquake, and that was awesome.
The Hogan promo, I wouldn't have minded if he just dropped Tugboat's name one time, but he brought the Tugster. He called him
the big
Tugster.
bad Tugster.
And then because he couldn't have Tugboat there, they bring Boss Man back. I don't like this face Boss Man very much. I think it takes away from his talent. And now he's in Hulk Hogan's corner and kissing up to Hogan. Terrible. And
I actually really liked this promo from him, where he's like,
Yeah.
you have the right to be beaten into silence, the right to do it in front of thousands of people, the right to a speedy trial under Justice Hogan. And then Hogan does that like Thomas Bossman Jefferson and like George Washington Hogan. And he's like,
Yeah.
as I chop down the cherry tree. I was like, all right, that was dope as fuck.
Now we get the Hogan Quake match. I love the match. It was a great back and forth. I hated the ending with Hogan winning by countout. I thought there should have been a definitive winner, and it should have been Earthquake because that would have been really shocking, but they didn't have the balls. What do you think?
Absolutely agree. Earthquake should have gone over. Pisses me off. He put Hogan in the hospital with this Earthquake move where he sits on his chest. He does it twice, and Hogan just kicks out like it's nothing. And I'm like, well, that's the end of fucking Earthquake. You had a great fucking star here, and you blew it on Hogan's stupid comeback match. Oh, you fucked up so hard, Vince.
The Hogan no-sell was a big thing, but if you look back at Hogan before the no-sell was his thing, he was so much better. Like, I'm not sure if he came up with the idea or if Vince came up with the idea to make him no-sell, but there's a lot of collateral damage from the no-sells. It sucks. And Quake is one, Power and Glory is another, Macho Man's another. You can't take the Macho Man elbow from the top rope and kick out at 0.5 of the first count. It sucks. Twice.
It gets worse next year because he does it 5 times on Warrior, and Warrior kicks out. But Macho was leaving at that point, so I don't think he cared. And if things had not gone the way that they had gone, I think he would have killed the Undertaker next year. If they weren't trying to get the belt off of Hogan, I think that if he just no-selled the Tombstone, that could have been the end of the Undertaker. Just imagine if they didn't have to take the belt off of Hogan somehow. Undertaker was just another person that Hogan beats and then got knocked back down the card. Like, imagine the wrestling landscape without the Undertaker.
Imagine the landscape should, like Hogan had brought this up in interviews, where he wanted to be a heel, beat up the Warrior after he lost the belt. A Hogan Warrior rematch in the next WrestleMania with Hogan being a heel, that would have been a big seller. It's too bad they didn't pull the trigger on it, but then again, the NWO would have never happened. In a different reality, that would have been a good time. So leading to a cage match between the amazing Rick Rude and the not-so-amazing Ultimate Warrior. Unfortunately, there was no question who was going to win this match. Wasn't a great match. Rude gave his all, as he always does. Warrior was kind of clunky. I could have lived without this match, to be honest. What did you think of the Rude Warrior match?
Why is it 10 minutes long? And why is it in a steel cage? There's no reason it needs to be in a steel cage. It was just to give it a gimmick. Is someone trying to run away? Who would run away?
Yeah.
And like, is the Warrior worried about Heenan interfering? I mean, I know he did it one time. So like there's no reason it needs to be in a cage other than the fact that like Warrior can't wrestle and they need a lot of shortcuts for him. Rude did his best, and he is like the Warrior Whisperer, or I think someone described it like that. He's the only one that him and Hogan were the only ones that were able to like get a decent match with some psychology out of it. And unfortunately, this is the end of Rick Rude. He's gone. He leaves after this. Wow, you jobbed him out to like this fucking idiot.
Rick Rude would go on to WCW and have great matches with Ricky Steamboat and Sting before getting injured. So there was life after love, as Cher would say. He
Life
did.
after Warrior.
He life after Warrior. But this match was not a highlight. Rude did all he could, carried the Warrior, and the only good thing the Warrior did was at the end climbing down the cage. He did a gyration, which I laughed. Other than that, it stunk.
Piper said this. Just tie the Warriors' armbands to the bars. Like, that's brilliant. There's also like so many opportunities. Rude could have just left the cage and whatnot, and he would have like won. And it's like, fuck, man, it's so bad. The Warrior's not a good champion. If he was smart, I would say turn him heel. He'd be a great heel. He's not intelligent enough to like be a heel.
If he had a manager, like if Bobby Heenan managed him, the Warrior could be great. Him doing promos, fucked him. In ring, stupid, and a bad main event here. So back to the questions here. Best match of the night.
I'm gonna say best match of the night was Hart Foundation versus Demolition again. Bret Hart's a hero.
Worst match of the night.
Oh, there's a lot to choose from.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say the worst match of the night was probably Dusty versus Macho, only because of the potential that match had to be amazing, and they squandered it.
Best moment.
Hulk Hogan slamming Earthquake. That was pretty awesome.
That was awesome.
They returned to the Andre spots, and I was like, oh, he's got him. And then we body slams him on the table.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, too.
What would you say was the worst moment of the night?
Brother fucking love.
Finally, the MVP.
Rick Rude, my man.
Yep.
Rick Rude made that match watchable, which if it was with anybody else, I don't think it would have been watchable. So I'm going to say Rick Rude. Now, Geno, what was your best match of the evening?
Mr. Perfect against Kerry Von Erich. I know it was short. It was short, but I loved the match as short as it was. It was a great time. I loved the fact that he used the claw and the discus punch. Great match. Great sell by Kurt Hennig. Loved it. My favorite.
Worst?
The worst match would be Bad News Brown versus Jake the Snake. Big Boss Man as the ref. Disappointment. Bad match. No real build-up. Just stunk. The best moment was Bobby Heenan raving about the loss and saying he was going to knock out Gene Okerlund. I loved that shit. Great stuff.
Worst moment?
I have a tie. Brother Love and Sapphire. Those two things.
Yeah.
Those two things I could live without infinitely, forever. Bad stuff.
And who is the MVP of SummerSlam 1990?
I have a tie. Rick Rude for carrying the Warrior again and for putting on a reasonable match in a winless situation. But just edging him out, I would say, would be Bobby Heenan for his promo before and after the Kerry Von Erich, talking about the Hicks in the trailer park and then threatening to knock out Gene Okerlund. Those moments stick in my head because they make me laugh so much. So I'll say Rude came in second. Bobby Heenan is my MVP.
All right, so secret bonus question. Besides WrestleMania 3 and besides joining the NWO, bit of a memorial for Hulk Hogan, what would you say your favorite Hulk Hogan moments of all time are?
I got a bunch, but I'm going to narrow it down to the three. The Iron Sheik victory in 1984 that set off Hulkamania was a huge moment. It's a moment I still remember, and it's right up there with him beating Andre. So the Sheik win. I can't make a decision between these two. The No Holds Barred production, making that movie and branching out into film. I love that film so much. The tying with that would be the Sting press conference in WCW. Prior to Starrcade, they had a press conference where Sting was late and Hogan was talking so much shit. When Sting showed up, Hogan was holding the contract and said, "Oh, you can see he doesn't want to sign it," and tried to run out of the building. And I love that. And number one, by far, was the 200 Make-A-Wishes that Hogan did and did not seek publicity for. I appreciate that very much. I think when you take a kid that has issues and you take the time, it could be argued that he did it for image or whatever, but the fact you made a kid's day that doesn't have many days left, that means a lot. I give him kudos for that. So those are my moments. How about you there, Eric?
Maybe the time he didn't sell the choke slam for the Undertaker.
Oh God, yeah, that was bad. Yeah,
This is gonna sound insane. I really like Survivor Series 1990, where it's him, Warrior, and Tito Santana on the same team.
yeah,
And Tito, it's the three of them versus like all these like heels, and
Yep.
Tito just like he gets a couple of pinfalls and stuff. I thought that was great. I think that's
I
like
agree.
peak Hogan. This might be my favorite Hogan. Anything. Him and Earthquake work really well together, and just Hogan can just make you look so good
He can.
when he wants to. Like I love when he's like after he got the Earthquake dropped on him, he's like convulsing. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Like he's so good at that. He's so good at selling when he likes you. As much as I am not a huge Hulk Hogan fan, I respect what he did for the business, and he sure as fuck is entertaining to watch.
I'm with you. I am a Hogan fan. Obviously, the objections that I've heard, I don't contest, but I certainly look at like I brought up the Make-A-Wish stuff. I have a soft spot in my heart for terminal children, like most people do. Anyone that can bring brightness to their lives, I tip my hat to. On top of being such a big part of my childhood, I give Hogan credit. He will be missed. He gave so much to entertainment and to wrestling. And you think about where wrestling would be now without WrestleMania 3, without the Iron Sheik. No other wrestler could have filled that spot, and Hogan did. Hogan was the man, and may not get enough credit nowadays because people are forgetting.
Fair enough. Good night, sweet prince.
Good night, sweet prince. This was our SummerSlam episode, and we hope you enjoyed it.
I'm fighting for life, brother. I'm fighting for all those people that have remolded their lives, man. Modeled after Hulkamania. Get their priorities in order, man. Walk around with a lot of pride. But I've already gone through my transformation, man. I'm ready for Pontiac, Michigan. I'm not the Hulk anymore. I'm the Hulkster, man. Looking through my eyes, man. And I'm geared to seek and destroy. Seek and destroy the cancer of Andre the Giant. Seek and destroy the Weasel's empire. And what you gonna do, Andre, in Pontiac, Michigan, when Hulkamania destroys you?